My husband left me in the delivery room during active labor because his ex-girlfriend called crying that she was having a breakdown and needed him more than I did. Marcus spent 2 hours on the phone with her while I set up for the party alone. When guests started arriving, he was still outside talking her through her latest crisis. "Where's Marcus?" his mother asked. "Helping a friend with an emergency," I said, not wanting to explain the full situation. When Marcus finally came inside an hour into the party, he seemed distracted and kept checking his phone. Later, I found out he'd been texting Chloe throughout the entire event to make sure she was okay. That night, I told Marcus I wanted him to start seeing a therapist to discuss healthy boundaries in friendships. He agreed in principle but never followed through, claiming he was too busy with work and didn't have time for appointments. Meanwhile, Chloe's demands continued to escalate. She started asking Marcus to help her with grocery shopping because being in public gave her anxiety. She needed him to accompany her to doctor's appointments because she was afraid to drive alone. "This isn't friendship," I told Marcus. "This is codependency. You're enabling her inability to function independently. I'm helping someone who's struggling. Isn't that what decent people do? Decent people also prioritize their wives and children. When was the last time you spent an entire weekend focused on our family without being interrupted by Chloe's needs?" Marcus couldn't answer that question because it had been months since we'd had uninterrupted family time. The breaking point came when Isabella was 3 months old. I'd planned a special dinner for Marcus's birthday, arranging for my mother to babysit so we could have our first real date night since Isabella was born. We were getting ready to leave when Chloe called. She'd been stood up for a date and was spiraling into depression. Marcus spent 45 minutes talking her through her disappointment while I sat in my dress, watching our dinner reservation time pass. "We can still make it if we leave now," I said when he finally hung up. "Actually, I think I should go check on Chloe. She sounded really fragile, and I'm worried she might do something impulsive." "It's your birthday, Marcus. We've been planning this for weeks. Chloe needs support right now. We can reschedule dinner." "No, we can't. My mom rearranged her schedule to babysit. The restaurant might not have another table available for weeks. And more importantly, your wife needs you to show up for once." But Marcus was already changing out of his nice clothes. "You don't understand how serious her mental health issues are. One disappointment can send her into a complete breakdown." I watched my husband choose his ex-girlfriend over me for what felt like the 100th time, and something inside me finally broke. "I want a divorce," I said. Marcus stopped putting on his casual shirt and stared at me. "What?" I said I want a divorce. "I'm tired of being married to someone who treats me like I'm less important than his ex-girlfriend's emotions." "You're being ridiculous. It's one dinner." "It's not one dinner, Marcus. It's every dinner, every celebration, every moment that matters. You left me during childbirth for this woman. You've missed Isabella's first smiles, her first attempts at rolling over, her first everything because you're constantly managing Chloe's feelings. I haven't missed anything important. You missed your daughter's birth." Marcus looked genuinely confused, as if he still didn't understand why that was a problem. "But she's here now, and she's healthy. Everything worked out fine." That's when I knew our marriage was over. Marcus couldn't see that some moments can't be recreated or made up for later. He prioritized someone else's emotional needs over witnessing his daughter's first breath, and he didn't even seem to regret it. Update 2. I filed for divorce 2 weeks later. Marcus was shocked and kept insisting that we could work things out if I just tried to be more understanding about Chloe's situation. "She's getting better," he promised. "Once she's more stable, things will go back to normal." But I'd realized there was no normal to go back to. Even if Chloe got completely healthy, Marcus had shown me that I would never be his first priority. There would always be someone else whose needs seemed more urgent than mine. The divorce proceedings revealed just how extensive Marcus's relationship with Chloe had become. Phone records showed hundreds of calls and thousands of text messages over the past year. He'd used our joint credit card to pay for her therapy sessions, her grocery bills, and even her rent when she claimed she couldn't afford it. "I was just helping a friend," Marcus insisted when confronted with the financial evidence. "You were financially supporting another woman while your wife was raising your infant daughter," my lawyer pointed out. Marcus's family was horrified when they learned the full extent of the situation. His mother called me crying, apologizing for her son's behavior and begging me to let her maintain a relationship with Isabella. "I don't understand how we raised him to think this was acceptable," she said. "Leaving you during labor to help his ex-girlfriend, I'm so ashamed." The final hearing was scheduled for last month. Marcus showed up with Chloe, who apparently needed his emotional support while he got divorced. The optics were so bad that even his own lawyer looked embarrassed. I was awarded primary custody of Isabella, with Marcus getting supervised visitation until he completes counseling about appropriate boundaries. The judge was particularly disturbed by Marcus's abandonment during labor and his continued prioritization of his ex-girlfriend over his family. "This court has serious concerns about the father's judgment and ability to put his child's needs first," the judge stated when announcing the custody arrangement. Marcus seemed genuinely surprised by the outcome, as if he'd expected everyone to understand that he was just being a good friend. Even now, I don't think he fully grasps what he destroyed. Chloe moved to another state shortly after the divorce was finalized, claiming she needed a fresh start. Suddenly, all her mental health crises resolved themselves, and she was able to function independently. Funny how that worked out. Isabella and I are thriving now. She's 8 months old, crawling everywhere, and has the most infectious laugh. I'm sad that her father chose not to be present for the important moments in her life, but I'm grateful that I learned who he really was before wasting more years hoping he'd change. Sometimes people show you their true priorities through their actions, and when they do, you should believe them. Marcus showed me that his ex-girlfriend's emotional needs would always come before his family's most important moments. I'm just glad I didn't spend the rest of my life competing for my own husband's attention.